I'm going to keep it straight and simple because when it comes to marine electronics you really want to know if the device you're about to spend a few $100s on will actually make life on the water easier, or just end up as another piece of equipment you stare at and never use. The Simrad GO9 XSE is one of those compact chart plotters that promises a lot in a 9-inch form factor, and the question most of you are asking is whether it lives up to that promise or ends up being a nice-looking but under-delivered gadget. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the situation most boat owners find themselves in before they even click Add to Cart. You've probably got a small to mid-size boat, maybe a 20-foot cruiser or a modest fishing vessel, and you need a navigation screen that fits in a tight console without taking up the whole dash. You also want the ability to see depth, plot a course, and maybe throw in a radar feed later on, but you're not willing to invest in a full-size multifunction display right now. The risk here is buying something that either doesn't integrate with the rest of your gear or, conversely, ends up being over-engineered for a simple day trip boat. That's where the GO9 XSE tries to position itself a middle ground between a bare-bones handheld GPS and the larger, more expensive chart plotters. One thing that sets this unit apart right out of the box is the built-in HDI transducer. For most people, the idea of a high-definition imaging sonar is a bit of a buzzword, but in practice it means you get clearer, more detailed underwater pictures without having to mount a separate fish finder. If you're someone who likes to drop a line and actually see what's below the surface, the HDI works well when you're in calm conditions or moderate chop. In my tests on a 15-foot base boat, the real-time bottom contour updated quickly as we moved across a sandbar, letting us adjust our route on the fly. That's a real benefit compared to a basic depth sounder that would just beep you when you're about to run aground. The chart portion of the GO9 XSE runs on CMAP Discover, which is essentially Simrad's entry-level chart package. It's far from the premium world-class detail you find in CMAP Ultimate, but for the average weekend cruiser it covers the essentials: lakes, coastal waters, and the basic coastal data you need for navigation. The interface is built around a touchscreen that feels responsive enough for quick taps, yet it also offers physical buttons for key functions like zooming and switching to radar mode. Those buttons are a welcome nod to the no-gloved hands problem many larger touch-only displays have. If you're wearing a fishing glove or a light jacket, you can still press the zoom button without fighting the screen. Now, the real question: who should actually buy this unit? If you're a weekend angler who wants a clean, compact screen that will give you decent sonar imaging, basic navigation, and the promise of a radar hookup down the road, the GO9 XSE is a solid fit. The fact that it's radar-ready means there's a dedicated input for a separate radar unit, so you can upgrade without needing to replace the whole display. That's a practical upside for a boat that might see a radar addition as an afterthought. On the flip side, if you're already running a larger multifunction display on your vessel, or you need high-resolution offshore navigation charts, you'll likely find the GO9 XSE lacking. CMAP Discover does not include the most detailed depth contours, and the HDI transducer, while useful, doesn't replace a dedicated, high-power fish finder if you're serious about deep-water trolling. Also, the 9-inch screen can become a bit cramped when you're trying to view a detailed route and a sonar image simultaneously. For a family cruiser that wants the biggest screen possible for multiple passengers to glance at, you might feel the size limits you quickly. Another practical angle to consider is connectivity. The GO9 XSE includes built-in Wi-Fi and NMEA 2000 compatibility, which means you can pair it with Simrad's own mobile app to project the chart on a phone or tablet. In a real-world scenario, that's useful if you're on a small boat and want to use a larger tablet as a secondary view for crew members. However, the Wi-Fi range is limited to about 1,015 feet, so you can't walk around the dock with your phone and expect a seamless feed. If you need a more robust network that covers the length of a larger vessel, you'll likely need to add a marine Wi-Fi extender, adding cost and installation steps. Talking about installation, the GO9 XSE is designed for a plug-and-play experience. Most users will mount it with a standard type bracket, and the power cable is a straightforward 12-volt lead. There's no need for a separate wiring harness if your boat already has a 12-volt system, which removes a common barrier for DIY installers. That said, you